Elemental Master Saga, Saga 3. Chapter 9. Mysterious Invitation. The original 8 are now back in the normal universe, living their normal lives again. Team X, Chris, Earon, Anna, and Brandy, are now the defenders of the Andiron universe. 2 weeks have passed since the events of the Drazel universe saga. The location: Chris's house. Present day. These are invitations, from Earon, for us to come to his island, Chris said as he looked at Earon. I wonder, started Earon. Anna and Brandy crashed into Chris's room. Did you guys get one too? Brandy asked. Earon laughed. We did, Chris answered. Anna paced back and forth. I wonder what he wants. We trained to go against these guys, and they invite us to come to them, speculated Anna. He's been watching us, Earon added. We all need to train harder. They have the advantage being that it's on their turf, Chris ordered. Darren and Iria appeared. Good to see you all again, greeted Iria. Earon has sent you invitations to his island. This is it, guys, your first assignment as my defenders, announced Darren. The Elemental Masters is an organization mostly from the Andiron universe. Switchfire is the master of fire, Geishi is the master of water, Q is the master of earth, Dan is the master of wood, Euro is the master of wind, Jing is the master of metal, and Shigo is the master of darkness, lectured Iria. Furthermore, their leader, Earon, has learned all 7 elements, making him an Ultima. This is serious, and since you guys are my defenders, you are required to go, by my order, lectured Darren. Darren and Iria disappeared. Tanya, Gabriel, Angela and Daniel are currently on a hike and stopped to have lunch. It's good we came up here. We can't have anyone in public hearing any of this, Daniel said as he sat next to Tanya. Tanya, Gabriel and Angela agreed. So let's get to it, Tanya. You assured me that you would explain what happened in the Drazel universe, demanded Gabriel. I'm curious as well, Angela added. Daniel looked at Tanya. I don't want to pressure you, love, but it has been 2 weeks, Daniel added. Tanya stood up. You were more than good during our elemental training. We saw what you can do. How is it that you lost to Anna? Questioned Gabriel. Because I lost on purpose. Tanya boomed. You did what? Yelled Angela. You heard me. I lost on purpose, Tanya repeated. I don't understand, said a puzzled Daniel. I do, Gabriel said out of nowhere. Gabriel stood in front of Tanya. Tell them why you did what you did, said Gabriel calmly. Tanya frowned at Gabriel. Because you electrocuted me, and left me laying before I could walk through the portal to the forest zone, Tanya revealed. Seriously, Gabriel, shot Daniel. That's why we did not see you in the forest zone, before the fog cleared. Angela exclaimed. Daniel stood up and got in Gabriel's face. Daniel and Gabriel stood nose to nose. Tanya separated them. It's time to move forward, declared Tanya. I agree, I underestimated you, Tanya. I didn't think you would go on to find the looking glass after our little chat, Gabriel replied. I'm still lost here. There's no way you did that for Anna or Chris, added Angela. Not one of you standing here wanted to defend the Andiron universe, started Tanya. You got that one right, Angela interrupted. I didn't want to either, I will admit that, but that isn't why I did what I did, continued Tanya. Tanya looked at Gabriel. You don't deserve to defend any universe, none of you do after you almost got Chris and myself killed, Tanya said seriously. Everything worked out then, responded Gabriel. Daniel shook his head in disagreement. Not completely, I know you, there was more to this than you making sure we wouldn't have to defend that Andiron universe, Daniel cut in. Tanya glared at Daniel. Fine, I wanted to see what Anna was capable of as well, and I did, inform Tanya. If that wind gust that cleared the fog was from her, then she might be capable of a lot more, Angela speculated. The 4 of you are capable of more as well, said a distant voice. Darren and Iria appeared. Great, remarked Gabriel. Darren, Iria, forgive me, but I wasn't expecting to see you two again, Tanya said. Daniel and Angela had looks of shock on their face. Myself and Darren have come to bestow some information upon you for the future, announced Iria. Why, we are not the defenders of the Andiron universe, Chris and friends are, Angela responded. Because you all know about the Andiron universe, boomed Darren. What, We don't know anything about that place. Daniel exclaimed. Or if it even exists, added Gabriel. The abilities that you use to electrocute Tanya exist, she felt yours and Anna's. Iria replied. Speaking of those abilities, started Gabriel. About that, your elemental abilities cannot be used in the normal universe, informed Darren. You are saying that we still have them? Tanya questioned. You all do, answered Iria. But elemental abilities don't exist here in the normal universe, they do on the other hand in the Andiron universe, continued Darren. Even though you are not the main defenders, you are bound to the same call that Chris, Brandy, Duran, and Anna are, declared Iria. In order to keep your elemental skills sharp, you are free to train them by using astral projection to travel to the Drazel universe, Darren lectured. You can die in the Drazel and Andiron universes just like here. In future battles we cannot protect you, continued Iria. That means the fire beast stunt that you pulled could have meant either Chris or Tanya's death, finished Darren. It is important that you all train and develop a superior technique, Iria lectured. Tanya stepped in front of Iria. Like that wind blast that Anna hit me with? Asked Tanya. Yes, answered Iria. You are free to train your physical techniques in the normal universe. We may come calling for you real soon, Darren boomed. You will be informed when the time comes. Until then, Iria said as she threw up a peace sign. Darren and Iria disappeared. Another 2 weeks have passed. While Chris and Duran are inching towards graduation, the original 8 as a whole are looking beyond the last day of school. They all decide to focus on getting ready for finals, with plans to resume their training that weekend. Before that though, they must finish their last day of school that week. Present day. Chris, Duran, Brandy, and Anna are having lunch with the rest of the wolf pack at the Freak Theater. Tanya and Gabriel approached them. Chris and Anna stood up. Whatever your reasons are for being here, it doesn't matter, we won't back down, shot Anna. Calm down, Tanya replied. We aren't here for a fight, it's already been established where we can do that, added Gabriel. What's the deal then? Duran questioned as he and Brandy stood up as well. Chris, Tanya, Anna, Brandy, Gabriel, and Duran stepped away from the rest of the wolf pack. We found these invitations in our rooms over the weekend, started Tanya. They might be for a prom after party, don't know why you are telling us, Brandy interrupted. Gabriel laughed. Seriously? There is no way that we get invitations to go to Earon's island and meet the elemental masters and you guys didn't, responded Gabriel. I assume that you have all been training, Tanya said as she crossed her arms. We received them too, what about Daniel and Angela? Asked Chris. That's why we are here, Gabriel answered. The two of them made no mention of receiving one, finished Tanya. Darren and Iria got us up to speed about this universe stuff, Gabriel informed. Do not under any circumstances mention Earon's island or the elemental masters to Daniel and Angela, boomed Tanya. Myself and Tanya have decided that it would be too dangerous for them to go there, Gabriel added. Their training is lackluster, and if we have to fight the elemental masters, the two of them could be killed. Please keep them out of this, begged Tanya. Team X nodded in agreement. We can do that, Chris responded. Great, see you on the battlefield, Gabriel said as he pointed at Chris. Tanya and Gabriel walked away from the Freak Theater. When they are out of Team X's view, the two start a new conversation. You know, Tanya, I have a newfound respect for you, complimented Gabriel. Tanya glared at Gabriel. I don't understand, Tanya replied. You took charge, went out on your own, and found the looking glass, said Gabriel. Gabriel put his hand on Tanya's shoulder. Not only that you used it for your own motives, when we travel to Earon's island, I will stand by your side, under one condition, Gabriel said softly. Name it, shot Tanya. If myself and Chris face each other in another fight, do not get involved, that's all I ask, Gabriel replied. Tanya glared at Gabriel once again. Since we agreed to move forward, I accept your condition, but I have one for you, Tanya responded in a serious tone. Gabriel smirked. We have been friends for years, I expect you will be fair, remarked Gabriel. If you have a score to settle with Chris, settle it, but don't involve any of us or Chris's friends anymore, Tanya declared. I accept your condition, we have ourselves a deal, Gabriel said as he extended his hand. Tanya and Gabriel shook hands. Let's get this day over with so that we can go train this weekend, said Tanya excitedly. Gabriel and Tanya agreed and went on to their 5th period class. Friday at school has come to an end. After having dinner with their families, Team X gathered at Duran's house, and Tanya and company gathered at Angela's house. The original 8 have decided that they will enter astral projection and train to develop their superior technique to aid them in future battles. At Duran's house. My mom isn't going to be back until Monday, so this is the safest place, announced Duran. This is new to me and Brandy, you two should explain, Anna suggested. Astral projection is an out-of-body experience, started Chris. Travel is possible once in astral projection, Duran continued. We will use this state to travel to the Drazel universe, finished Chris. So how do we do this astral projection? Brandy asked. Easy, we have to go to sleep, Duran answered. You will not be dreaming, but your mind will travel to the Drazel universe, and you can manifest a physical body there, lectured Chris. Chris put on a 963 Hz music track on. We can use this to help us sleep, the longer we sleep the more time we have to train, Duran informed. Chris, Duran, Anna, and Brandy slowly fell into a deep sleep. In an hour, the 4 of them were standing in what appeared to be an all-white empty room. Darren and Iria appeared. Where are we? Asked Anna. Nowhere, Iria answered. So we are somewhere, but we are nowhere. This is a new one, remarked Brandy. You are in astral projection, this is where your soul goes before it begins astral travel to its destination, informed Darren. We wanted to meet with you before you start training, Iria added. You will have access to the entirety of the Drazel universe, started Darren. The effects of each zone may help you harness your abilities and develop a superior technique, Iria continued. Be careful, a superior technique requires mental and physical energy, try to develop one that will allow you to continue fighting if there is a need to, lectured Darren. I also believe that it is important for some of you to develop more attacks that combine your elemental and physical technique, Iria finished. So which zone would you like to visit first? Asked Darren. I think we should start in the ancient zone, answered Chris. Darren snapped his fingers and Chris, Anna, Duran, and Brandy disappeared. In the ancient zone of the Drazel universe, Team X have arrived and begin setting up to start training. I put the binaural music on a timer. Once it stops, our physical bodies in the normal universe will wake up sometime around 9 a.m., announced Chris. So once we wake up, we go back to the normal universe or nowhere? Brandy asked. We will go straight back to Duran's room, Chris answered. That means we have about 6 hours, added Anna. All right, Anna, you already have a superior technique, and you fought with elemental abilities. We need you to guide us here, Duran suggested. Chris held Anna's hand. You got this, encouraged Chris. Anna stepped in front of Chris, Duran, and Brandy. In order to be able to use a superior technique, your mind and fighting spirit must be one in order to gather maximum energy, Anna started. You need maximum energy? Questioned Brandy. Not always, most of the elemental attacks I used were in small spurts because big elemental actions can drain your mental and physical states, Anna answered. We didn't get to see you do your superior technique, you should show it to us, Brandy suggested. Anna got into her fighting stance. You guys should stand back a little bit, said Anna. Anna began charging her aura as the wind began to blow slightly harder. I won't use too much energy here, so I won't hurt any of you, yelled Anna. Anna gathers energy with her aura. She gathers the wind in the area, making it stop. Once enough energy is gathered, Anna releases a wind blast that fires in all directions. This is Anna's superior technique, blowout. Anna releases the wind energy in a small blast. Chris, Duran, and Brandy fly back a couple feet. Anna floats over to them. That was cool, Duran said as he helped Chris up. Probably wasn't cool for Tanya, for her I would have used more energy though, Brandy said sarcastically. Trust me, I did, but for some reason I felt deep down inside that she could have continued fighting, but it is what it is. I'm sure myself and Tanya will meet in battle again, responded Anna. I don't ever think that I can unsee you floating in the air, Chris remarked. Anna laughed as she held Chris's hand. Now it's your turn, Brandy, try charging your aura a bit, lectured Anna. Brandy got into her fighting stance. Brandy's aura started to glow orange. Now concentrate, manifest, and control the fire, Anna ordered. As Brandy's aura grew, it turned into flames. A flaming aura, now that's hot, said Earon as he stepped back. Based on what Chris told me about the fire beast, your best bet for a superior technique is a projectile distance blast. I set up those humanoid dummies over there, try shooting some small flames at them, Anna continued. Brandy began shooting flames at the dummies from her fingertips. The dummies are now on fire. Now, you are going to have to use more energy, focus, and gather enough energy to shoot a flame large enough to cover more area, finished Anna. Brandy charges her aura once again. Once Brandy's aura reaches maximum power, her entire body is surrounded by flames. Brandy raised both of her arms in the air. As her arms came down, her hands formed a triangle-shaped flame. With her hands together in a triangle shape, she pushes the flame. The flame is pushed toward the dummies, burning them to a crisp. Brandy powers down her aura, and the flames surrounding her wisp away. That was flashy. What are you going to call that, Brandy? Asked Earon. Brandy stroked her chin. I'm going to call it Triblaze, Brandy announced as she sat down. You might have went a little overboard there, remarked Chris. She may have, but that technique can end a fight for sure, added Anna. Chris, Anna, Earon, and Brandy all agreed. Anna took Chris's hand and walked him to the last remaining dummy that was not burned by Brandy's first superior technique. Earon helped Brandy up and the two followed. What's on your mind? Chris asked Anna. I thought about what Iria said before we got here, regarding combining your element with a physical attack. I think that will work for you, said Anna as she smiled. Chris nodded. When I fought Tanya, in the forest zone, I combined my wind abilities with a punch. It didn't connect, but the force of the wind cut her and caught her off guard, Anna continued. I must admit, I haven't tried anything like that yet. This should be interesting, replied Chris. Brandy stepped forward. Don't use all of your energy, you may not be able to fight again after that in a real fight, Brandy lectured. About half of your energy should be fine. Destroy the last dummy with a physical and elemental attack together, said Anna as she released Chris's hand. Chris charged his aura. Remember, don't use all of your energy at once, Anna reminded Chris. As Chris charged his aura, the sky started turning dark. That's a little bit too much, yelled Earon. You need to learn how to conserve your energy. Everything you do may not finish off your opponent, Anna added. Chris walked up to the humanoid dummy and got into his fighting stance. Chris's aura shined. Chris gathers dark energy. Once enough dark energy is gathered, a purple flame surrounds Chris's right fist. He quickly throws a punch. This is Chris's superior technique, Dark Fist. Chris's fist goes through the center of the dummy. The dummy explodes. Nice, complimented Brandy. That was pretty good for only half strength, Earon remarked. Using less energy should allow you to see how much damage your opponent can take while allowing you fight on, and possibly use the technique again with more energy to finish off the fight, informed Anna. Last but not least is Earon, Brandy announced. Anna stepped in front of Earon. We are going to have to change the scene for you, said Anna as she pointed at a portal in the near distance. What do you have in mind this time? Chris questioned. Earon's element is earth and he draws energy from living things. The jungle zone should provide plenty of that, responded Anna. What are we waiting for? Let's go, Earon said as he started walking. Chris, Anna, and Brandy followed. About a half an hour later, Team X arrive in the jungle zone. They are having a discussion about physical techniques while setting up for the next training session. It is important that each of us also continue training our physical techniques. I've been studying Kempo karate, what about the rest of you? Asked Earon. Taekwondo, I used some of it against Tanya, it helped me keep the fight close, answered Anna. You guys know me, I love my street fighter, Shotokan karate, Chris added. Brandy stood silent. To be honest, I haven't chosen a martial art to use for my physical techniques, said Brandy solemnly. Earon looked at Brandy. Don't worry, I can train you in Kempo, replied Earon. You can? What's in it for you? Brandy asked. Your safety, of course, answered Earon. Brandy glares at Duran. He's right, Brandy. Based on my experience, you will not be able to rely solely on your elemental abilities. Tanya's metal abilities are good, but her karate skills are top-notch. It gave her an advantage in our fight, Anna informed. I accept your offer, Duran. You just better hope that I don't master it before you do, Brandy replied. Duran stepped in front of Anna. I'm ready, exclaimed Duran. Anna smiled. Apparently you are already working on your physical technique, Anna speculated. Duran nodded. I am, he responded. Good, that means you will need an elemental-based technique. I have seen you manipulate the earth already. In a fight that can be a little predictable, started Anna. I have been researching more about the earth and the spiritual powers they can manifest, Duran said as he looked at Anna. Like mana energy? Questioned Anna. That could work, but it's dangerous. It draws energy directly from nature, Duran answered. Exactly, which is why you have the benefit of using the maximum amount of energy that you can possibly gather. Your superior technique should be an all-out attack, said Anna. Mana is pure energy. It can give energy as well as take it away. I have something in mind, Duran replied. The stage is yours, said Anna as she stepped back. Chris and Brandy stepped back as well. Duran charged his shining green aura. As his aura grew, the ground slowly cratered around him. The rocks on the ground floated in the air. Anna, Brandy, and Chris moved further away for cover. Use your mind, call the energy of living things in the environment to use your first superior technique, yelled Anna. Duran began to concentrate. As his aura grew, the rocks floating in the air bonded with his aura, creating a solid rock aura. Duran gathers energy. The ground begins to shake. The birds flying in the air fell to the ground. The trees in the area slowly wilt. The sounds of all wildlife in the area fade to silence. Duran's arms extend forward, releasing a shining green energy blast as the rocks from his aura flow with it. This is Duran's superior technique, Mana Blast. The blast shoots through the jungle area and destroys a mountain outside of the main area. Whoa, exclaimed Brandy. Chris walked over to Duran. You are just showing off now, Chris remarked. Anna was looking around. So much death and destruction, said Anna solemnly. Chris, Duran, and Brandy looked around as well. Darren and Iria appeared. You can fix all of this, Darren informed. None of your physical energy was used, started Iria. If you reverse that technique, you can return the mana energy and bring life back to this place, Darren finished. But it will cost you some of your physical energy, lectured Iria. Duran charges his aura. When his aura begins to shine, the ground shakes lightly. Duran's aura fuses with his physical body. So much energy, said Duran as he looked at his hands. Duran released the energy from his body. The sky cleared as the birds took to the air again. The trees started to green, the soil began turn over as the grass slowly grows green again. The sounds and life of all wildlife in the jungle's main area are restored. Duran drops down to one knee. Anna, Brandy, and Chris rush to Duran's side to help him up. He should sit down, Iria ordered. They helped Duran sit down. I am impressed with all of your technique, said Darren as he applauded. That's great, but some of these techniques are dangerous, Brandy replied. I agree, we just watched Duran kill off an entire jungle, added Anna. That may be necessary in the future though, Chris divulged. You don't have to worry about life created in the Drazzle universe, started Iria. This is a parallel universe, self-contained, and controlled by Iria, Darren went on. I can resurrect anything that I created, we just wanted to reveal another layer of your abilities, informed Iria as she waved her hand and restored Duran's physical energy. Duran quickly rose to his feet. While we're on the subject of abilities, what about being able to sense someone or something's presence? Duran inquired. Brandy and Anna were able to do it, I would like to learn it as well, Chris added. Okay, sensing a presence requires great concentration and spiritual awareness, lectured Iria. Once you are locked onto a presence, you will be able to detect how far away it is, some emotion, if it's deep enough, and if the presence is moving or not, Darren continued. I'm going to need all four of you to concentrate, and see if you can pick anything up, ordered Iria. Chris, Duran, Anna, and Brandy formed a circle. Their respective auras shine. This has to be Gabriel, he's in the Drazzle universe, he's restless but not moving, Chris replied. I have one, this person is unsure of themselves, in the Drazzle universe, Daniel, said Earon as he opened his eyes. This presence is leading the way, it's in the forest zone, not moving, it's Tanya, Anna went on. This person is fearful, also in the forest zone but moving, that's Angela for sure, finished Brandy. They must be training too, Anna anticipated. In the future, keep in mind that sensing an unfamiliar presence will require more concentration, announced Iria. It was easy for you to sense Tanya and her friends because they are familiar to you, soon you will have to sense many more unknown presences, with time you will be able to find them like Anna found Tanya in the forest zone, Darren continued. All four of you are picking this up very well, complimented Iria. The time has come to enlighten you more on the coming threat that is the Elemental Masters, Darren said as looked at Chris, Earon, Brandy, and Anna. Team X sat down looking on attentively. Earon's island is located in the Andiron universe, started Iria. Wait. They're in the universe that Chris traveled to, Earon interrupted. Correct, responded Darren. What if we run into our alternate self? Anna asked. You won't, Earon's island is an isolated point there, answered Darren. In the normal universe it is known as the South Pole, Iria continued. Why would they choose a place like that? Questioned Chris. Earon's island is a hot spot for universal travel, Menifee/Paloma are as well, Iria answered. Universal travel is possible, and the Elemental Masters have used it frequently, informed Darren. If they have the ability to travel to our universe, why don't they just come to us? Brandy inquired. Like you, the Elemental Masters cannot use their elemental abilities in the normal universe, said Iria. While you are taking to this well, compared to some of the Masters, you are all inexperienced, Darren continued. Earon must believe that is an advantage, added Iria. Since the Masters can travel to the normal universe, the only way you can fight them there is by using physical techniques. Use the rest of your time here to train your physical techniques as much as the elemental ones, Darren informed. We will leave you with this, in order to reach Earon's island you must travel through a universal travel point that will allow you to enter Earon's island, started Iria. Once on Earon's island you will have 3 days to complete whatever business that you may end up having there, finished Darren. Continue training and we will see you soon, Iria declared. Darren and Iria disappeared once again. The story will once again shift to Tanya, Gabriel, Angela, and Daniel. Tanya is training Angela, Gabriel, and Daniel. Similar to Anna, Tanya is lecturing her friends about using their elemental abilities in a fight. Your elemental abilities are important, but your fighting technique will be as well. In my fight with Anna, her wind abilities gave her the initial advantage, informed Tanya. How did you counter that? Angela questioned. I convinced her to use less elemental abilities and fight me with her physical technique, revealed Tanya. Tanya passed Angela a pair of gloves. What are these for? Asked Angela. I'm about to teach you something that you can use, Tanya replied. Angela slipped the gloves onto her hands and awaited Tanya's instructions. Your wood abilities are physical, it can be shaped much like metal can, the gloves are to protect your hands, Tanya lectured. Tanya put a pair of gloves on. She got into her fighting stance. Tanya charged her aura. Tanya formed one small knife in each hand. You are telling me that I can do that too? Asked Angela. Yes, if you focus your mind and body, Tanya said as she tossed the knives in the air. Tanya pulled a small photo of a wooden bakkan out of her pocket. Put this photo into your mind, in order to form weapons you will need to visualize, lectured Tanya. What if it doesn't work? Angela questioned. It will, we don't have a lot of time, give it a try so we can move on to superior techniques, we all need one, urged Tanya. Angela stepped forward. Angela got into her fighting stance and charged her aura. Angela's aura shined in a dark brown color. She closed her eyes to concentrate. As Angela's aura slowly grew larger, a wooden bakkan formed into each of her hands. Holy shit, it actually worked, said Angela as she looked at the newly formed weapons. Gabriel stood up. Wow, you didn't believe her. Don't forget Tanya actually fought in a real fight, so we should let her lead the way, Gabriel reminded Angela. as he stood next to Tanya. Daniel nodded as he stood next to Tanya as well. That technique can be performed with or without any wood present in the area, continued Tanya. Tanya dissolved the knives in her hand. When you form elemental weapons with your body, you are using physical energy. Once you dissolve the weapon, that energy will be returned to you. Try it, Tanya suggested. Angela dissolved the Baccans as her aura powered down. You can also shape your weapons freely, but remember, try to keep your weapon in your possession. If you do not dissolve them, the energy you used will be lost, finished Tanya. Alright Tanya, let's help her develop a superior technique, Gabriel suggested eagerly. Tanya nodded. We started off with physical training so that we could get an idea of what our superior techniques would be like in our minds. Time to show and prove, started Tanya. Remember, gather energy, but not too much, use visualization, and don't forget to stay focused, Gabriel went on. You said that you can grow trees from the ground, right? Tanya asked Angela. I can, responded Angela. Tanya, Gabriel, and Daniel stepped back for cover. Don't forget what we talked about. Do not be afraid to use your abilities to the max if you have to, shouted Daniel. Angela got into her fighting stance. She charged her aura. Do it the same way you described it to me earlier, Tanya yelled. I would like to introduce you all to my superior technique, Timberline, declared Angela. Angela gathers energy. Her aura shining bright brown. She raises her arm. And continues that motion. Angela grows 8 trees, with sharpened edges all in one line. She controls the trees by launching them forward in succession. This is Angela's superior technique, Timberline. The trees plow through the forest area. That was exactly how we discussed it. Great job, complimented Tanya. I'm not done yet, Angela said as she smiled. 3 of the sharpened trees returned to where they were grown. The trees decomposed into the ground. Angela's aura fused with her body. I can continue to control them until their destruction. I tried your energy recovery technique. It worked, but I could only bring a few back, informed Angela as she fell to one knee. Tanya and Daniel help Angela to her feet. I'm ready now. Tanya, give me some guidance, Gabriel ordered. Tanya nodded. We are running short on time. You were using your electricity abilities well. This should be quick, replied Tanya. Gabriel stepped into the center. Your skirmish with Chris was evenly matched, from what you told me, started Tanya. It was, but we also did not have these abilities yet, Gabriel said as his static aura started pulsing. Tanya agreed. In that case, your superior technique should be solely elemental. We have not seen much of what Chris can do with his darkness abilities, continued Tanya. Gabriel's static aura crackled and popped. Now it's time for me to drop some knowledge. You see, electricity is not man-made, but we do control it, Gabriel informed. Gabriel's aura grew as small bolts of electricity surrounded him. Humans can produce electricity, so my elemental-based attacks draw energy from my body, finished Gabriel. Gabriel charges his aura. More electricity surrounds him. His aura violently crackles and pops. Gabriel places his index and middle fingers against his forehead. All of the electricity surrounding Gabriel flowed to his fingers. Gabriel released a gold-colored energy blast with electricity surrounding it in a drilling motion. This is Gabriel's superior technique, electric driller. The blast drills through multiple trees and travels through the main forest area. The blast created a lightning show in the distance. Chris, or anyone for that matter, won't be able to top that, Gabriel said while catching his breath. Angela walked over to where Gabriel directed his superior technique. Rows of trees had holes in them, with electricity still crackling. You might be right, but when you use that, you better not miss, lectured Angela. Gabriel nodded in agreement. Tanya started walking. We only have about 2 more hours left here. Let's keep this moving, Tanya proclaimed. Daniel, Gabriel, and Angela followed. They soon arrived outside of the main forest area. A small lake was there. It separates the 2 main forest areas from each other. Babe, it's time for you to show us your superior technique, said Tanya. Daniel tied a blue headband around his head. Gabriel and Angela sat down nearby to rest, but were looking on. I'm going to be honest with you, the level of your training is lower than all of ours, Tanya informed Daniel. Daniel looked puzzled, but had no choice to agree. I figured that making this easier for you will help get you up to speed, continued Tanya. That's fine by me, my love, Daniel replied. We spoke about what you had in mind already, you don't have to call any water because it's right here, said Tanya as she stepped aside. Daniel charged his aura. You can move water, and manipulate it, so we got that down, Tanya carried on. Tanya paced back and forth. Use some force on this one, water alone is just water with force, it can become a powerful natural disaster, lectured Tanya. Daniel's aura is at its maximum. His aura shines a very bright blue. The outside of the aura resembles the lining of a bubble. As Daniel raises his arms, all of the water from the lake rises into the air. Daniel fuses his aura with his body. Daniel throws his hands forward, releasing his aura in the process and causing a tidal wave. This is Daniel's superior technique over wave. The massive tidal wave crashes through the second main forest area, washing a majority of it away. Holy crap, Angela said as she stood up. Daniel stood there breathing heavily. I have to hand it to you, Daniel, that is one hell of a technique, added Gabriel. Tanya ran over to Daniel. He looked at Tanya. Was that good enough for you? Daniel asked her as he sat down. Before Tanya could answer, she is interrupted by Angela. We have company, shouted Angela. Darren and Iria are walking towards Tanya and company. Iria heals Daniel. Daniel stands up. Tanya hasn't revealed her superior technique yet. What brings you two here? Questioned Daniel. We came here to congratulate you on developing your superior techniques, Darren responded. I have to say, I'm impressed, and confident that if we needed to call any of you to assist in the universal struggle, you can hold your own, added Iria. You two didn't hear Daniel? Angela cut in. We heard him, Darren and Iria said at the same time. Tanya steps in front of Daniel, Angela, and Gabriel. I already have a superior technique, Tanya revealed. That's why you knew so much, exclaimed Angela. When did you develop it? Daniel asked. Shortly after I ventured out on my own in the Drazzle universe, responded Tanya. Figures, Gabriel remarked. I could have used it when I fought Anna, but I chose not to, continued Tanya. With that statement, Tanya clarifies that she had no intention of winning the looking glass in that fight. You are one of one, my love, what else are you hiding from us? Daniel inquired. Darren and Iria stopped him. Tanya's choices are her own and in the best interest of your group, boomed Darren. The three of you caused her to go off on her own, Iria continued. If things would have played out the way they should have, Tanya would have been lost in the fog with all of you that day, divulged Darren. Anna was always meant to find the looking glass, that's why she was drawn to your presence because it was in your possession, Iria lectured. Remember, your actions can and will affect what takes place during the universal struggle, Darren continued. All of your behavior in the Drazzle universe was clever but could have had much worse results than the actual outcome, scolded Iria. You caused that fog, I should have known that, Tanya replied. Iria created and controls everything in the Drazzle universe, from the weather to the living things that reside there, shot Darren. I created the fog to challenge you to use your spiritual awareness, which Anna and Tanya did, that led to their meeting, continued Iria. It's time for you to complete your training so that you can return to the normal universe, announced Darren. Well, Tanya, let's see what you have been hiding all of this time, Gabriel urged. Iria made a sentinel warrior robot appear. Don't worry, it's harmless and won't fight back, updated Iria. Tanya steps in front of the sentinel. She charges her aura. As her aura intensifies, the outside of it turns into solid metal. Tanya's silver aura shines. Tanya fuses her aura with her physical body. Her body glows and pulses frequently. The glowing flows to Tanya's right hand. As the glow fades, Tanya's hand turns to solid metal. Tanya strikes the sentinel with an open palm. This is Tanya's superior technique, metal palm strike. The sentinel explodes on impact, sending debris flying into the distance. Tanya bows and turns toward her friends. Angela smiled. You probably could have killed her with that, Angela said to Tanya. That was impressive, Tanya. Underestimating you is not in my best interest for the future, declared Gabriel. Daniel hugged Tanya and held her. Time is getting scarce, so pay attention, Darren boomed. Continue training your spiritual awareness, so that you can sense others' presence, started Iria. The elemental masters and others that are threats can travel to your universe, Darren continued. You must be ready for that. If we call you to assist Team X, you will have to locate threats and allies, added Iria. When you are locked onto a presence, you will be able to detect how far away it is, some emotion if it's deep enough, and if the presence is moving or not, Darren lectured. You can train and develop your spiritual awareness in the normal universe, stay motivated and learn as much as you can. The time to show what you can do in a real fight is coming soon, stated Iria. Tanya, Daniel, Gabriel, and Angela's bodies were slowly fading away. Tanya and company disappeared. The original 8 are now back in the normal universe once again. With all of them possessing a superior technique, they are more equipped to face the coming danger that is the elemental masters. On that subject, exactly who are the elemental masters? And how did they come to be? What do they have planned for Chris, Anna, Duran, Brandy, Gabriel, and Tanya? How long can Gabriel and Tanya keep the secret that they have received invitations to go to Earon's island and Daniel and Angela did not? One question regarding Tanya and her motives in the Drazel universe was answered though. She had no intention to defend the Andiron universe. The fact that she already had a superior technique that could have possibly ended the fight in her favor confirms Anna's suspicion that Tanya could have continued the fight. Will Tanya continue to work independently to fulfill her own motives as she has recently? Or will she honor her and Gabriel's agreement to work together on Earon's island? These questions and more will be answered soon. In the next chapter, the story will introduce each elemental master and the group as a whole. Prepare for the story's second trip to the Andiron universe. End of chapter 9.